Hi, I'm Pop Sigung. Welcome to my channel where I teach my personal martial art of Bagua Kuntao Silat. This is Guru Trevor. Today, we're going to talk about how Bagua Kuntao Silat utilizes the Shin for striking. Now, the Shin has actually two bones in it, the tibia and the fibula. The tibia is the large one. It doesn't look like a tube or a pipe. Most bones don't, in fact. But certainly this one doesn't. It appears more like a bar or a handle. This barbecue fork is a good example of what the tibia will look like. That's the main bone we're going to utilize, as you can see from the graphic. I've shown here. This, you can see, it has a thickness and a width, but it's certainly not one round tube or pipe. And as anything that's fairly flat in design, it is weaker from lateral force along the flat side than it is along the higher cross-sectional density or the thickness. Like this, you can see it easily bends this way, but it's extremely difficult to get it to bend that way from obvious physics and basic engineering design. The tibia is actually, the thickness of it, the edge of it is right here along the middle part. You can feel it with your finger. That's what we're going to use for striking. That is what we want to use whenever we make impact with the opponent or another person. We never want to have the force impact the flat side. Even at an angle, we want to make sure that that force impacts that thicker cross-sectional side all the time. Anytime we can, we're going to turn our foot, knee to make sure that that force coming in hits that higher cross-sectional density point of impact. There have been many breaks in MMA and even sparring where the person thought that they were properly approaching something or they weren't paying attention, especially when they're worried about takedowns. So what they'll do is make a quick kick to the outside of the person's leg or inside of the person's leg. You can't see here. They'll make a quick kick and it's that rising kick coming up to the impact of the leg. However, that sort of kick is the impact just inside that edge of the tibia, and the force is hitting that flat side, albeit at an angle, but it's still hitting it. Once you learn how to generate enough force and you hit at that angle and that impact is along the flat part of the tibia, regardless of the angle, you're going to break your leg. We want to make sure we don't break our legs at any point. We want to emphasize our safety and get as much leverage for ourselves and impact protection for ourselves as we engage with the opponent. So, as you can see, with the way we move, our hips begin to generate our legs, and our hips are propelled by our lower dantian, which are propelled by the force generated from the ground and the movement of our entire body. When we impact or strike with our shins, we can strike from any angle. However, we're going to make sure it's our hips that propel our shins. And you can see that with the way that we impact here. Even with our sapus, which I've shown in another video, he takes a step forward and I move it in like this, or he takes a step forward and I move it in like this. But that cow poo movement has my shin, the edge of my shin striking along the flat part of his shin. So I have maximum leverage. The hinge of my knee assists me, and I can easily make him go down with very little effort indeed. That also works for kicks. If he comes in and he's stepping and I want to kick his thigh, our kicks look much more like Muay Thai round kicks than in other systems. And the reason why is that cow poo strike, that cow poo stepping, which emphasizes that shin strike. Our hips roll over and drop our body weight through our legs and into our shin. So when he comes forward, you can see our body weight moves forward. Now you can see that time I step down, which is what Bagua Kuntao Silat will often do. Often in other arts, when he comes in, and then they'll step back and attacking, and that's fine too. Depends upon your goals, his follow-ups, your combinations, reactions, what your intention is, what his intention is, skeletal relationships, all that stuff, mentality. But often we'll use a round kick as a way to get in after we struck him, because from there we can throw him, or from there we can stomp his knee or his ankle or crash through and throw him another way. But aside from the obvious Kaupu stepping, we use Baipu stepping, which is that outside stepping. And you can see I'm starting to torque and turn, and my shin bone is pointed in the direction I want to send the force. So he comes forward, I'm stepping here, and I'm stepping as I impact his calf. And move here, you can see the obvious strikes, and I strike through and want to take him down this way. Now, that was from the outside, same leg closest to him. I can also do it with the obvious from the outside, where he comes forward, makes a strike, and I'm simply Kaupu stepping. But what if I want to do Baipu stepping from that angle? He comes in with a strike, and same, he's almost going down. Now I can follow up with a shin strike to then the groin muscle while he comes forward as I'm stepping forward. And remember, the entire time I'm striking him on the way in, gaining control of his head. But in all instances, we want to hit with the edge of our tibia, the thickest, highest density cross-sectional area as we're approaching. And if you're properly relaxed and generating power from the ground through your lower dantian and your hips are moving your legs, you've been doing that proper circling the square exercises and other fundamental stepping exercises, he can easily feel my impact. You feel my weight as I'm moving forward. It's not just a kick, which is also helpful, but it's more of a tidal wave focused in that one area, crashing through his defenses. That's another thing we do if we're coming through. He wants to fight, he comes and I dodge him with an evasion, but I decide now I'm coming through, and I just step through, and I can strike him again. When you step properly, you can use your shin to crash through the opponent's footwork and throw them with little preparation, because your weight is always where it needs to be at all times. Even say he switches stances and he's on his offside, he steps forward with his rear after he fakes a jab to throw me off the line of defense. I notice the change, and instead of worried about this, my hands are already up, waiting to impact and crash through, and I simply use my foot stepping to intersect with his leg. He doesn't know this is coming. Yeah, he's moving forward too, but I'm properly grounded. We've been doing our exercises. I'm relaxed, centered, and rooted. And when that punch comes through, he can't even complete it. And you can see he was off balance. And it looked like he was giving it up. Were you giving it up? No, it was, you can do it. I paused for a minute because I realized my knee was going to go into his groin, but you can see it was an easy throw for me. And all I did, I stayed sunk and stepped forward and impacted right here as his foot moved forward. Is when I stepped forward and my shin impacted. Now it was quicker than that, real light, and I caught him in the middle of his step, which is the perfect place to catch him. So he was pegged like this and nowhere to go, and I already grabbed his shoulder. I already could strike his head at will and just finish the toss as easy as you please. That's possible because we're in control of our motions. We've been doing our fundamental, foundational, basic exercises, and we can move in such a manner that that guy has no idea as to how we're moving. So we're moving with all of our weight all of the time and all of our appendages. But the shins are an outgrowth of that. So whenever he steps forward, we want to make sure that, and you can hear his ankle cracking from that, you all right? Yeah. Step forward, that my shin will always be perpendicular to the point of impact on his body, no matter where it is, along his calf, then shin on the flat part, the vulnerable part, or along the fibula while I'm going down this way, or as he comes forward, same idea. You can see that strike. I'm stepping with Baipu and levering it down. And my shin is dictating the direction of force, protecting me while it impacts him and compresses that down. And you can see here, he has no choice but to go down anyway I tell him to. So, and that's on the lead leg. If I choose to, he comes with that punch, and I'm on the rear leg, same thing. That shin impacts, and that was a simple step. No Baipu or Kopu, but I have him down. And now I'm turning in the direction of my shin, and he goes down. He couldn't quickly remove it because I had engaged our ankles and hooked his foot with that simple step. Or he comes again, and we step through again, boom, that shin was in his inner groin, and he goes again. Naturally, I could have hit him in the groin, but I hit him just above the knee in his groin muscle area or his quad, and I can hit him again. If I want, I can take that shin and do a compression so you can feel it, Use my weight. I keep the weight off because it's intensely painful, even if your shins are conditioned. Also circling, he comes with that punch again, off to the side, and I simply power through this way and drop. Yeah, he feels it. And I grab, again, I come off the shin, but I step on his tendon and bring it. Then you can see there's a number of throws, submissions, and other wrestling moves, or Kuntao Silat Bagua moves that can use for submission. However, it all starts with the ability to use your shin. We engage with our entire body in Bagua Kuntao Silat. When I'm thinking about his upper body coming to attack, I'm also thinking about his lower body. I want to make sure I attack it all at the same time. He comes again, and you can see easily striking with the shins. Protect yourself. Make sure it's always in alignment with your knee and ankle so you don't blow either one of them out. Anything to add? No? Thank you for watching. I'm Pop Sigung. Please like and subscribe.